All right, good morning, class. Math lesson 4, the last one for this week. 1 through 30 will be your assignment. If you have any questions, because we don't have a Zoom call today, make sure you text me. Let me know. But this is kind of the test the waters to see how you're doing. A lot of the questions from our assignment today will be similar ones to that we did yesterday. So if you caught on our Zoom call yesterday and got a bunch of those done, hopefully you can refer back to those. All right, here are our objectives for today. First of all, we're going to compare two whole numbers. Compare which one is bigger, which one's smaller, and of course maybe they're equal. And then we also want to, after we know which one's bigger and small, we want to write these numbers from least to greatest. I'm going to turn my screen over here to the other part of my board. Now, this is your power up. This is your power up. Backside of your power up sheet's like this. I'm not doing it under my camera today, so you got your power up A. You're all done with the mental math problem of the day. Flip it over. Divide it into fourths. There's one vertical line, one horizontal line. Today we have 4 examples that we want to put on there. Before we get to that, we want to take it our ways we can compare numbers. We got 3 different signs that we can use to compare numbers. 1, it's equal. My example is 5 is equal to 5. Second one is greater than. Now some kids get these mixed up what they're called. It doesn't matter if you're unsure what they're called, as long as you got the open mouth pointing to the biggest number. I always say like this, put a little teeth on here, yeah. Now I look like a shark mouth, and I want to eat what? Well, we had our pizza story today. Do I want to eat 2 pieces of pizza or 3? 3. So make the mouth open towards the bigger number. But if it opens left, it's greater than. If it opens right, it's actually less than. The less than sign, the small end, it's pointing to the smaller number. That's called less than. So let's take a look at what it looks like in numbers. 5 equals 5. 5 is greater than 4. I want to eat 5. 4 is less than 5. Again, the less than's pointing to the left. We call it less than, but our greater than mouth is always eating the bigger number. Okay? All right. So we can use that to help us organize these numbers. If you look in your book on page 23, math book page 23, our new concept, I would like to read it to you. When we count from 1 to 10, we count in order from least to greatest. So whenever we answer questions for Saxon, he's going to ask us to do them least to greatest. Sometimes if you're working on IXL, sometimes they ask you for the numbers from greatest to least. But Saxon, always least to greatest. Of these numbers, the least is 1 and the greatest is 10. Since these numbers are arranged in order, we can easily see that 5 is greater than 4 and 5 is less than 6. And so then underneath there, you can see they have those same exact signs as I just had on my board. So let's turn the page and check out our examples. Example 1, it says write the number 64. Go ahead and put in your box. 46. Go ahead and put in your box. And 64, 46, and 54. Now notice I wrote it different than they did. I like to stack mine up because when I stack them up, I can easily look. Now when we're talking about greatest, is a $100 bill bigger or less than a $10 bill? Bigger, so we'd always start with the hundreds. Well, we don't have anything in the hundreds, so let's go with the tens. Is a $10 bill bigger than a $1 bill? You bet. So let's always start in the tens column. And if the 10 columns are all different, we have it easy. Which one is the least? If I was going to give you money, do you want $40, $50, or $60? Obviously $60. Which ones do you not want? $40. So that's the smallest. So that's the least. So we start with the least, and then I like to mark it off with a little X through it. Okay? The next one would be $54 because 5 is less than 6, and the last one is $64. Now again, if you have your hundreds chart, you could use that. And what you would find on your hundreds chart is you would find 46 in the column with all the rest of the 4s. You'd find 54 underneath it, making it bigger, and you'd find 64 underneath that. And so that's how you could use a 100 chart to help you solve that problem. Example number 2. It has 3 different ones there. It has an A, a B, and a C. So let's get those on your paper. A says 7, and this is little Saxon's way of saying compared to. 7 compared to 7. We have to put something in the middle there. 7 is what compared to 7? 7 is, good job guys, equal. Look at B. B says 6 compared to 4. 6 compared to 4. 6 is, and you should say greater, and make sure your sign has the mouth hot, ready to eat the 6. And then C is 6 again, but this time it's compared to 8. you read it like this. 6 compared to 8. 6 is less than. Point to the smaller number, eat the bigger number. Point to the smaller number, that's my little point, and eat the bigger number. Example number 4. They got a couple of them that they'd like you to do here. Pardon me. Example 3. 373 compared to 47. Now, this is what I was talking about. Just think about going to a job someday. Do you want your boss to pay you $373, or do you want to pay $47? Well, some kids say, oh, look, Mr. Bauer, the first digit's a 4, and the first digit's a 3. The 4 is going to be bigger. No, no, no. Listen till you read the numbers. 300. Oh, this is actually 0. So that one's pretty obvious. This one's got to be greater than. 373 is greater than 47. Some kids like to stack this one up. And they say, Mr. Bauer, it's obvious if I stack it up. This one's got some in the hundreds place. This one doesn't. 373 is greater. And in B here, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to put it. I'll erase it. In B here, now we got 373, a 3-digit number, compared to 382. In this one, we have hundreds in both, and they're the same. So if the hundreds are the same, that's where we start. We'll look at the tens. That one's got 7 tens, worth 70, and that one's got 8 tens. So we don't even need to look at the ones because 70 is less than 80. 373 is less than 382. And then example number 4, before we practice this. They're going to give you things in words, and you got to be able to write it. When they give it to me in words, my little trick is I like to read it twice. Listen to it. Use digit in the comparison symbol to write this comparison. 6 is less than 10. And I read it again. 6 is less than 10. 6 is less than 10. So I wrote my 6 and my 10, and I obviously know I'm going to point to the smaller number, eat the bigger number. 6 is less than 10. Guys, that's it for our objectives today. Our little lesson practice. You can fit it on the bottom of any of these squares here, but if you look at the top of the next page, it says A. And you want to write down A there. I'm going to make some room for myself over here on the board. And you find a place on your sheet. These are where you get an opportunity to test if you know it. If we were in class, I'd probably give you an exit ticket to see if you can do this. So you try to get it done before I do. A says write the numbers 324, 243, and 423 in order from least to greatest. Remember on this one, we're going to write them all down first. 324, 243, and 423. And now we're going to start in the hundreds column, and we're going to find the least. All right, 243, nice job. The second one would be 300s, good. 324. And the last one, 423. B. It says complete the comparison symbols inside of the circle to compare these numbers. 36 compared to 632. You want that big job, what would you like? Paycheck for 36 bucks or 632? Obviously, 632. The comparison symbol you wrote reads like this. 36 is less than 632. C. 110 compared to 101. Oh, Mr. Saxton, you always try to trick us by putting the same digits in there. A 1, a 1, and a 0, a 1, a 1, and a 0. So go ahead and say it to yourself. 110 compared to 101. 10 compared to 1. Good. 110 is greater than 101. D. 90 compared to 90. Oh, brother John, I don't even have to help you with that one. You got that one. E. 112 compared to 121. Notice the ones are the same. So you go on to the tens column. You have a 1 here and a 2 here. 1 compared to 2, 1 is less than. 121 then is larger, so make your mouth go towards 121. Now F, these are the ones that I want you to read out loud. It says 20 is less than 30. 20 is less than 30. So then I like to write my numbers down, 20 and 30, and hopefully it makes it a lot easier. The less than sign is going to point to the 20 and eat the 30. G, 12 is greater than 8. 12 is greater than 8. The greater sign points to the left, and the less than sign points to the 8. All right, guys, lesson 4, comparing them using greater than, less than, or equal to compare two numbers. Also writing numbers in order from least to greatest. Always start with the hundreds, then the tens, and the ones to solve those problems. I'll have a second video up. They'll give you some example problems to help you with your assignment. God bless your weekend.